Hey minions, so we are going to the vet today. I've got Boomer in this one, my most recently acquired ball python, and I've got Eli, my chronic respiratory Angolan python. He has a lot of issues. I have to keep bringing him to the vet, so I figured I'd record it this time. My little guy Boomhauer here, when he came in he had really bad mites, and this is wet because he's actually going through a shed unfortunately right now. He came with really bad mites. And otherwise, was very, very healthy. Everything was perfect. He's a very good eater, poops on schedule, eats every time. He's growing. His weight is steadily growing, so he's really good there. And he is just beautiful, and he's super docile, a little shy for my taste, but we'll break him out of that. I'm bringing him to the vet today because twice it appears that he either regurgitated what was left of the mouse, or he did not digest it completely, and it passed practically whole. That's not normal, so if you ever see something like that, it was slimy, it was dirty, but it did not smell like regurgitation, and anyone who knows what regurgitation in a snake smells like you know that is the worst stench you could possibly smell. So, it did not smell like that. It actually didn't smell like anything other than a poop. So, I'm going to assume that it was partially digested and then just passed what was left over. It seems like he's digested the last one. I did give him something a little bit smaller, so that could have been it as well. But because he came in with such a bad case of mites, I want to go ahead and get him checked out by my veterinarian, since I've got to take Eli in there anyway. So we're going to keep you guys updated on that. And then we have Eli, my little male Angolan python. I got him from Reptile Passions, and I did all the research I needed to do. I mean, I always do that. I don't ever get an animal without doing research. Angolan pythons come from an area of Africa that is extremely dry and extremely hot. Now, according to what they told me, they kept him the same way they keep a ball python, and that's what a lot of other breeders are also saying. I mean, I found that out after the fact. So when I received him, I basically tried to keep him in a very dry, very hot, rocky type of enclosure, which is, where they come from. That's what it looks like, and that's what I commonly do when I'm setting up my enclosures. I look to see what their environment naturally looks like and take it from there. Now, this guy, he had an RI when I got him. I took him to the vet, and he was on a course of medications, and he never really got any better until I kept him in an environment that was more like ball pythons, which is not, and I mean, this is the weirdest thing, that's not where they come from. Their scales, if you look, their scales are actually like bumps rather than overlapping scales, and that's because the dry environment that Angolan pythons come from does not rain much, obviously. So any moisture that's collected on their skin between the scales is kind of used as channels to, I guess, channel the moisture. So, I mean, this guy is definitely supposed to be kept dry, but he's not. And as I tried to keep him dry, but it didn't work. He never got any better. And then he did get better once I increased his humidity. I kept the heat on pretty high, and he improved. He started eating again, and everything was fine. And then about 6 months after that, he started to get sick again. Nothing had changed. He was still eating, but there was a lot of saliva buildup, a lot of fluid buildup in the mouth, which he still has. You could generally check for RI on a snake by gently applying pressure. You see that? To the, head, just take 2 fingers here and just very slightly apply pressure, and you can see moisture coming out, bubbles coming out the side of the mouth. I feel really bad for this guy because I feel like this was my doing, but at the same time, why are we not keeping them the way they're supposed to be kept? I've looked up where they come from. The area looks like pictures of the area that they're found in, and there's very little vegetation. It's a rocky caves and stuff like that, dry material, a lot of dry material, but people keep them like ball pythons. Breeders successfully keep them like ball pythons, and it's probably great because it's easier, but at the same time, are we really doing what's best for these animals by doing that? I don't know, but he has not grown. He stopped eating again, and he's starting to build up a lot of fluid again. So this is obviously going to be a chronic issue. We're going to have to keep taking him back to the vet. I think we're going to go ahead and do a culture or something. Because I really want to see what's going on, and I really want this guy to get better. I mean, he's such a sweetheart. Look at him. Yeah, he's trying to hiss at me, but you can't hiss at me, can you? Strike out at prey, but he won't constrict it at all. He won't take it. So yeah, it's definitely time to bring him in, and I'm going to run late if I don't cut this short, and let's go. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to just handing off the animals to the vet. It's just so weird that we do that now. But I'm used to being in there in the exam room and comforting my babies as they're being seen by the vet. Unfortunately, we can't do that anymore. At least not until this whole pandemic thing is done and over with. But we are here at Willow Oak Veterinary Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. And the two babies are inside, Boomer and Eli, getting seen by the doctor. Hopefully they can do what needs to be done and find out what's up with both snakes. By the way, how do you guys like my mask? So it's been 10 days. We've got Eli's test results back. He tested positive for a rod bacteria called Klebsiella oxytosa. It is not only transferable between animals, but also between animals and humans, so it's a good thing I've been vigilant about keeping things clean. Although we do apparently have a type of Klebsiella bacteria in our guts already, and they are beneficial. So he'll be needing 2 shots every 3 days. So he'll be getting a total of 20 shots this time. Last time it was 1 shot, but they did say that because this is a form of pneumonia, it should have worked, but I really didn't see any improvement on the last time that he got dosed. So this poor guy, I'm really hoping that he gets better because he's just such a sweetheart. He might change his attitude though once he's healthier and a little stronger. He does still get quite a bit of mucus in his mouth, and I've been using a baby nasal aspirator to basically suck out all the excess mucus to help relieve him so that he can breathe better while he's healing, or trying to heal anyways. So hopefully all of this stuff is going to work this time, goodness gracious, and we are getting ready to head over there now.
You'll be giving the injections in the like the 2/3 quadrant, so close to like here to here. Yeah. All right. If you want to go ahead and just hold his head, and then he will squirm around, but I like to kind of just use my fingers to just pin him down just a little bit, and then I'll go. There's a little bevel on that you'll have sticking out the hole so that the point goes in first, and just try to go in between 2 scales. There. I always pull back.
And as soon as it pops through.
And then give it, I know.
Okay,
And then I put my finger on it just for a little bit, and then I'll let him go. That was the amikacin.
Poor baby.
Now we'll do the cold one. So literally the same thing. I'm just going to do it on the other side.
Okay.
Here, I gave it to him on this side, so if you want just to do that one. Yeah, perfect. I know, handsome. I'm sorry. We like to do thin needles for the snakes.
They don't really seem very stable.
But, there you go. I'm just going to hold it for a second. All done.
Okay, so I've seen a few people ask how we give shots when a snake needs to get shots. So I figured I'd do a quick rundown on how that's also done. First things first, we are going to wash our hands. That's definitely first order of business. I also have here both the medications that we need to give him. I've got a container to put the used needles in, which is going to be the same container that I used for the entire course of these antibiotics. And I've got a tube. Now this tube is just like it goes to the paper that I use for liner on the ball python tubs. This is just something I use because he fits. You can use anything that your snake fits into as long as it's got the length. It needs to be long enough. Also, to prepare, I'm going to, since I'm here by myself, I'm going to go ahead and pop these tops so that all I have to do is grab it one-handed and not have to fuss with that while I've got the snake in my hand. So you want to have all of that stuff ready. So let's go ahead and pull him out. He's probably going to be cranky. Hi, I did give him a couple of little pinkies yesterday because he's not been eating too well. So I wanted to give him something just to get him going. Another thing I want to do before getting started is to check to see how bad his discharge is. I don't see globs of fluid coming out of his throat, so we're going to just go ahead and move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide his head in here. He's going to want to go in there anyways. Let him go ahead and go up. You want to go about, they said about 2/3 of the way. So now he cannot turn around, and I am holding him. He's probably going to poop on me though, because he does that whenever he's upset. Pull him just a little bit further out here. I'd like to have another tube for the back end, just because I don't want to deal with that. But okay, so we've got the one here, and you see I was able to grab that one-handed. I'm going to go ahead and get that going. And pull that out. And then what I'm going to do is break off that needle in the sharps container here, what we're using as a sharps container. And we can throw that right in there. And we've done the thing where we held onto his spot. So I'm going to turn him over to the other side since we have to give him 2 shots here. Let's go ahead and prep that one. This one's very small, very, very small. Okay, so it's just a tiny little bit, tiny little needle going right under the skin. Oh, that one angered him. So again, break off the container, break off the needle into the container. Okay, get rid of that. We want to properly dispose that. And there we have it. We have given him both shots. You can take him back out. Yes, I understand you're very upset with me. And that was traumatic, so we're gonna right away put him right back into his little quarantine bin here. And there we have it. Poor little guy. Aww. I post all of the updates to Facebook and Instagram, so be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks for watching.